Hello and welcome into Phillies Daily today. I'm Mike Kennelly. There's a lot to unpack about yesterday's Phillies performances. They had a doubleheader against the St. Louis Cardinals to wrap up the last two games of the three-game series. Unfortunately, they split that doubleheader and lost their first series since they were swept by the Mets back on April 21st to the 23rd. They had won 5 consecutive series, so a little bit of uncharted territory for the Phillies. Have been playing really good baseball. Yesterday, it was a weird day, rainy, 2 games, tough. So I'm going to get all the bad out of the way real quick. I simply just do not have enough time to talk about everything today from yesterday with the 2 games happening. So I'm going to briefly talk about the bad and then talk about more so of the good for the remaining of the video to keep it upbeat because it's been dark, it's been rainy, it's been gloomy in the area. So let's not stay down. Let's get up our spirits lifted and let's get this thing rolling. Make sure you guys subscribe for more Phillies content from yours truly. Like I said yesterday, the Phillies had a doubleheader. They did get the first win of the day with Jesus Luzardo on the mound. They won 2-1, but unfortunately in Game 2, Aaron Nola took the mound and they ended up losing that game 14-7. But first, Aaron Nola, just not a good day for him, for the Phillies workhorse, for the longtime Philly. First of all, the Phillies scored 5 runs in the first inning to take a 5-1 lead over the Cardinals. Everything was looking great. It was looking like the Phillies were going to have an offensive outburst. They finally got Aaron Nola run support, and they were going to cruise to a 2-game sweep of the day and win the series. But unfortunately, that did not happen. Aaron Nola allowed 5 runs of his own in the 3rd inning, including 2 home runs in that inning. The Cardinals took a 6-5 lead going into the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Rob Thompson, after that 5-run inning, decided to put Aaron Nola back out on the mound for the 4th. Not a great decision. Aaron Nola got pulled during that 4th inning. He only went 3 2/3 innings in yesterday's second game of the doubleheader. He allowed 12 hits, which is horrible. 1 walk, 9 earned runs, which is also horrible, and 3 total home runs in that 3 2/3 innings. It was the worst start by far of his 11-year career. He is having a very, very, very uncharacteristic bad season for the Phillies in 2025. He is now 1-7 with a 6.16 ERA and 9 starts this year. Just not good at all. You can't pitch like that, making the kind of money that he's making, being that kind of reliable guy that they expect him to be. He's got to figure a lot of things out if the Phillies are going to be competitive down the stretch. They need Aaron Nola at his best, and he's simply horrible right now. It's tough to see because he's a guy that everybody seems to like. He's a guy that's easy to root for. He's been around forever, but horrible start yesterday. Horrible start to the 2025 season. He's got to figure things out quick. Like I said, the Phillies dropped that game 14-7. It was just one to forget. Let's move on to the good because, like I said, it's just been rough these past couple of days in the area with the rain and the darkness and the gloominess and the Phillies dropping a series. So let's get on to the good. In the first game of the doubleheader, the Phillies did win 2-1, like I said. Luckily for them and fortunately for them, it was a close game, but towards the end of the game, the Phillies rallied like they've been doing a lot recently. First, Bryson Stott came up. He had a ground ball up the middle. The infielder dove off his glove, trickled into the shallow outfield. The Phillies were down 1-0 at that point. Weston Wilson was on base. He came around to score to tie it 1-1. Bryce Harper came up. He looped a fly ball into the shallow outfield and center field behind shortstop into no man's land. That dropped for a base hit. Rafael Marchand was on base. He scored to give the Phillies a 2-1 lead. Bryson Stott, after his little single before that, tried to score on that play as well. He was out by a mile at home. It was the 3rd out of the inning, so the Phillies took a 2-1 lead going into the 8th inning. It was Bryce Harper's 999th career RBI off of that Marchand run. So that was good to see. They were able to hold on and win that game 2-1 to take the first game of the doubleheader. Great to see. You like to see them come back late in games and never give up. Keep that fight going. That's what you like to see out of championship teams, and the Phillies are that. Despite their tough loss in Game 2 of the doubleheader, they are still one of the best teams in Major League Baseball, and a reason for that has been the starting rotation. Like I said, Aaron Nola, little outlier there. But Jesus Luzardo, their big off-season acquisition trade from the Miami Marlins, has been lights out to start his Phillies career. He started game 1 of the doubleheader. Incredible performance yet again for Jesus Luzardo with his parents in attendance, so that's always cool. He went 7 innings, allowed 5 hits, just the 1 run, and he had 6 strikeouts. He is now 4-0 on the season with a 2.00 ERA, a 2 ERA. That is incredible. He's got 57 strikeouts in his first 9 starts in 2025, and with the Philadelphia Phillies. He is arguably the best starter in the Phillies rotation this year, and that's tough to say because they have Zach Wheeler. He's dominant. He's had some up and down games, but he's still right there with the best of them. Christopher Sanchez is great. Ranger Suarez has looked pretty good since he's been back. Aaron Nola, like I said, tough year so far, but he's still a good pitcher. But Jesus Luzardo is a legit and probably one of the top National League Cy Young candidates early in the season here. He deserves to be up there with the best of them, and he is proving everybody that he is the one of the best in all Major League Baseball starting pitchers. Definitely one of the best in the National League so far. If he can keep that up, the Phillies have one of the best rotations in the game, and that's how you win in the playoffs, and that's how you win a World Series, is with pitching late in the season when the weather gets colder, when teams start, it's just good to have pitching. And Jesus Luzardo has been a huge addition. Now, I know I said that I was going to keep this video upbeat, good things happening as I got past that initial part, but we're going to talk about Kyle Schwarber. He had a 47-game on-base streak going into yesterday's doubleheader. That was good for the 4th longest on-base streak in Philadelphia Phillies history. Mike Schmidt has the longest streak at 56 games. Chuck Klein is the 2nd longest at 49 games. And Bobby Abreu has the 3rd longest streak in Phillies history at 48 games. Unfortunately for Kyle Schwarber, he will stay in 4th place for now. Maybe he can have another streak develop, but for now, 47 games, 4th longest. He was 0 for 4 in the first game of the doubleheader against the Cardinals. We are not used to seeing that out of Kyle Schwarber. He's getting hits, he's getting on base, but yesterday in the first game, 0 for 4, snapped his 47-game on-base streak. Good for 4th longest in Phillies history. Impressive streak. Not all bad, though, with that. In Game 2, he came up. He hit a solo home run in the 3rd inning. It was in the 2nd game of the doubleheader. He tied the game at the time 6-6 after Aaron Nola allowed those 5 runs. So it was looking like they could get back on track and stay in the game with that. It was his 15th home run so far in 2025. 15 home runs. The Schwarbarian is smacking Schwar bombs left and right out of the ballpark. It's great to see. He's one of the best power hitters in all of Major League Baseball. His 15th home run is tied for the most home runs in Major League Baseball with New York Yankees superstar Aaron Judge. Also has 15 home runs so far this year. They're number 1 in that category, those two. It was Kyle Schwarber's 299th career home run. So he is just 1 away, just like Bryce Harper's 1 away from 1,000 RBIs. Kyle Schwarber is 1 home run away from 300 career home runs. Hopefully those two get it sooner rather than later. Impressive milestones for their career. They're great players. Good job, Kyle Schwarber. Keep it up. Tough game. Tough day for the Phillies, but that was a bright spot, even though his 47-game on-base streak snapped. Maybe he can start one up now, starting with yesterday in that 2nd game. Start another on-base streak, keep it going, and try to chase that record yet again. Now, I know I said Aaron Nola was struggling, and I know before, and everybody kind of knows that the Phillies bullpen hasn't been the best in 2025, but in yesterday's first game of the doubleheader, the bullpen, after Jesus Luzardo was lifted from the game, was amazing, to say the least. Now, Jose Alvarado, he did come in for the 8th in relief of Jesus Luzardo. He wasn't at his best. Yeah, he's been known to be a streaky pitcher, command issues with the Phillies throughout his Phillies career. But when he's going, he's one of the best. He's got an incredible fastball and sinker. He can be one of the most elite relievers in the game. Throws very hard. but he came in that first game of the doubleheader against the Cardinals in the 8th in a 2-1 game. He allowed some base runners. He was lifted from the game in that 8th inning with second and third and 1 out. They brought in Orion Kirkring, the young reliever, who they have high hopes for with the team moving forward. They think he can be an all-star level reliever for them, and he proved that yesterday in a very intense situation in a 2-1 ball game, 1-run ball game with 2 runners on in scoring position and just 1 out. He came in a tough situation, and he got the next 2 batters out. The first 2 batters he faced out to end that 8th inning, and they were not easy batters to get out. It was Nolan Arenado, the future Hall of Famer, he got out, and William Contreras, who was a really good offensive player. He got them 2 out, kept the Phillies with a 2-1 lead going into the bottom of the 8th and then heading into the 9th. And for that 9th inning, the struggling Jordan Romano, maybe not struggling anymore. He was their bullpen acquisition this offseason. He was a 2-time All-Star closer with the Toronto Blue Jays in 2022 and 2023. Injured for most of 2024, the Phillies took a chance on him with Jeff Hoffman and Carlos Estevez leaving in free agency this past offseason. Romano was supposed to step in there, fill the void, got off to a disastrous, nightmarish start in the Phillies bullpen. Horrible. Phillies fans wanted him shipped right out of town, and it was, they had reason to want that to happen. But credit to Jordan Romano. He stuck with his plan. He kept improving, practicing, blocked out the noise, and he is one of the more reliable relievers in the Phillies bullpen recently. He came in that 9th inning yesterday in the first game of the doubleheader, obviously pitched that 1 inning, and he struck out all 3 batters he faced. He pitched just 13 pitches. 10 of those 13 pitches were strikes. He got the save. He has now 6 consecutive scoreless innings and appearances for the Phillies in the bullpen, and in those 6 scoreless appearances, he has 3 saves. So he is gaining trust with the fans. He's gaining trust with manager Rob Thompson and the coaching staff. He's looking a lot better. His ERA for the season is still up there over 8, but it was tough to get it down after how bad he was to start the season. He was really high up there, and he was just not looking good. So over his last 6 appearances, scoreless, incredible. He's been very efficient. He's one of the Phillies' most reliable relievers right now, and it's great to see because they need him to be at the top of his game at the back end of the bullpen. So keep that up, Jordan Romano. Keep that up, Kyle Schwarber. Keep hitting home runs. Keep that up, Bryce Harper, Bryson Stott hitting clutch. Alec Boehm, Nick Castellanos have been hitting well. Trey Turner's been hitting well for the most part. So tough day overall yesterday with that second doubleheader loss. Long day, rainy, dark, gloomy. But the Phillies did get at least 1 win out of it. They weren't swept by the Cardinals. They did drop the series. We'll see what happens moving forward. The Pirates come to town Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Should be a good series. Hopefully the Phillies get back on track, get a series win, and start winning more. I have all the faith in the world they will. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Phillies Daily. I'm Mike Henley. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe for more Phillies content on Phillies Daily. I'll be back with you guys tomorrow. See you guys later. Go Phils.